So, what is involved in a horse riding lesson? Let's find out. All right, here we are. So every week or two, Riley will come out here and have a riding lesson. But here's the thing. I don't really know what that means. What'd you get there?
A horse catcher. Just kidding. This is a halter. This one's leather.
I mean, I know she gets on a horse and rides around, but I don't really know what she's learning or what the details of it are. And when I ask her about it, it's hard for her to describe it to me.
This is Junior. He's a thoroughbred.
So today, I decided I'd come out, check it out, watch her lesson, film it a little bit, ask some questions, and see if we can figure out what goes into a riding lesson. First, gotta get the horse, get it clean, and I think saddled. Okay. So yeah, what are you doing? I thought you were gonna ride him.
So before we ride, we need to get all the dirt off. If we put a saddle on a dirty horse, you can think of it as like putting your shoe on, but it has a bunch of sand in it, or like a sandy sock. So we want to go in with a couple different brushes to get the dirt out and get the fur all smoothed out, so then we can put tack on. So that whole process is called grooming, and that gives you
He's falling asleep.
That's good. That gives you the opportunity to look over their whole body as well and see if there's any strange things. They could have like cut themselves on a fence and you can't find it unless you're grooming them and looking over their whole body. And it feels good too. It's like a little massage. Now we'll get on.
Okay.
That's next. He'll move. Now I will go warm up, and then Lindsay will start teaching me.
Yes. Good. Let him trot. Switch direction.
So who are you? What's your role here?
My name is Lindsay DeAngelis, and I am the farm manager, head trainer, and lesson instructor here at Meadow Lake Equestrian Center.
What is she trying to accomplish as she's riding around in circles?
Yeah, so, well, it might look quite boring to non-horse people. As a rider, you're trying to feel every minute change that your horse is doing underneath you. So in her warm-up, she's trying to make sure her horse is attentive to all of her aids. That means her voice, her hand, her seat, and her legs.
Gotcha. So so you're still just warming up.
Exactly. So it's unfair. I mean, it's just like you wouldn't go and play a soccer game without warming up and stretching first. So we're doing the same thing with the horse before we start introducing more upper level work, more trot pull work,
Gotcha.
and same for the rider. Stretch down through your heel, bend your elbow. Don't forget to breathe. There, that's lovely. Help him hold this over the poles. Poles, trot poles specifically, really help establish rhythm, and it also strengthens.
Trot, what'd you say?
So trot poles. So poles.
That's what these are?
Yes, these are trot poles.
Gotcha.
So the trot is the medium speed gait that she's doing. So it's a 2-beat gait.
Pause right there. So she said Riley's about to do the canter.
No, I am doing I am doing it.
Okay, the canter gait. Pause right there and talk about what Lindsay means by speeds and beats.
Beats.
We have some slow-mo footage of Riley riding the other day and going through the 3 different gaits. So let's talk through those. First one is what?
The first one is walk, which is a 4-beat gait, and beats are measured by how many times a horse's foot hits the ground in a stride.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So it'll be the right hind, the right front, and then the left hind, the left front.
Okay, let's go to the trot.
Okay, so the trot is a 2-beat gait because throughout the entire time you're trotting, there's always 2 legs that are working together. The walk was right, and then left, but the trot is going to be the diagonals.
That's pretty cool. So we got 1, 2, 1, 2, etc. Let's look at the canter.
So the canter is fun. The walk is kind of wiggly if you're riding. It feels a little bit wiggly. The trot is really bumpy. And then the canter is like a rocking horse kind of feel.
So we still got the diagonals coming in.
Yeah. It's going to be his left hind that hits the ground, then his right hind and left front together will hit the ground, and then his right front will finish the stride.
So we got 1, 2, 3. It's like a 3-legged horse. So the fastest gait, the gallop, is what you're going to see at the racetrack.
Mm-hmm. Those 2 legs that move together in the canter normally, they get spread out. So it's back leg, and then front leg, front leg.
Fun fact, the first ever video is called Horse in Motion.
Yeah.
And it's a horse galloping. There were 2 guys having a bet about if they ever have a moment when all hooves are off the ground.
That's funny. They couldn't see that in the trot or...
Well, now we have video.
The first set of trot pulls here set quite short together so that the horse is expected to trot slower. And these ones that behind me are set farther apart so the horse has to trot bigger. The horse has no idea. The rider has to establish the trot in between so that the horse can get over them easily. Allow, push with your calf. That's okay. So there he broke into the canter instead of lengthening his trot. Because he felt like that might be easier than working harder at the trot.
Gotcha.
Good, now hold him, hold him. That was so well ridden. He stayed super consistent there, right? Yeah. All right, canter poles.
Okay, one more pause. So Lindsay just said canter poles?
Yeah, canter poles.
Okay.
Canter poles are just further apart than trot poles, and you canter them instead of trotting them.
Nice. So just changing the course.
Mm-hmm.
This course is more complicated than the last one because I added more canter work. So that means that she's going to have more transitions. And junior's hardest thing is switching between trot and canter and back to trot. So this course is very challenging because we're asking her to do that multiple times. Left squeeze right. That's okay. Good. He did it for you.
How much is it teaching the rider versus teaching the horse?
It's very much both.
Okay.
If you're teaching beginners, it's definitely more of the rider. But once you get to this level and above, it's very much both influencing each other.
Mm-hmm.
Much better there.
So that's her transitioning in
yeah.
there. Okay.
Now allow in your elbows. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. So the last time she stayed super collected through there, actually got one more stride in between those. So there she allowed, but then he went too much. So she's now going to have to find the happy medium. Back to trot. Hold your shoulders, squeeze your core, stay tall. Good. Easy. Talk to him. Ooh, good.
So if somebody that's been riding for their whole life, like you, hopped on a horse that didn't have any experience,
like had never been sat on, is that what you mean?
Or just like very little.
Okay.
What would that be like for you trying to get him to do something like this?
It would not. You couldn't do it. You know, we introduce exercises like this really slowly. Before we would do 4 trot pulls in a row, we'd do 2 in a row. And then we'd add the 3rd, and then we'd add the 4th. And then this exercise where it's collected to lengthen is really advanced.
Gotcha. What about if someone that had never ridden got on like your horse?
They could not do this either.
Okay.
I assume that was your question. No. Allow, but he does know. Good, good boy. Push him out. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't mind. Kick on. Yes, Riley. Really good.
So why was this course hard, right?
Last week, there was a transition that was a down transition.
So the same course.
So same course, but I was going from canter to trot.
So he's going slower.
So this was going from trot to canter in a really short span, a short amount of space.
Okay.
I guess like where I'm at and a little bit of where he's at. I like taking my time to go into the canter, so the fast transitions are really helpful and fun, but hard, but I like hard.
In something like this right here where he's speeding up to move into this, what are some of the things that she as the rider is doing to tell him to go faster?
So that's what really a lot of your lesson was about today, was figuring out what he needed in this exercise, right?
This was really hard today. I just needed to ask him to like trot bigger by making the way my body was moving, like how I was posting, to be bigger. So
posting is the up-down that the rider does while the horse is trotting.
Okay.
And your post, the height of your post and the speed of your post helps determine the size of the horse's trot. So the whole time through these, she was kicking and doing other things to get him to move forward, which are correct on other horses and even on Junior at different times. But for this exercise, all he needed was for her to post bigger and soften her arm for him to understand that that's what she was asking here.
Would you say like the lengthening trot's harder than just popping into a canter?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks, Lindsay.
You're welcome.
So the lesson was good.
The lesson was good.
They're always exciting. Even if I kind of messed up like more than normal, I feel like this time, but it's just such a fun way to like work out, and obviously I love it. He wants grass.
Yes. Okay, so making those transitions between speeds, between the horse's gaits, little movements in your hands, core, legs to do that, and every horse is different, so you have to do different things depending on what they need.
Yeah, I like the fact that I can like use my body in this way, and I think it's a gift from God to have fun things in this life, like riding. So. Absolutely.
It's a way to connect with God's creation in a very unique way.
Yeah.
Well, hope you learned something. I did. It's a beautiful day to be out here. You want to do the honors?
Oh, sure.
All right.